At least I got to see Godzilla for more than 15 minutes. That's something, I guess. Godzilla, written by Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, the dynamic duo of 90s sci-fi blockbusters who gave us truly great films like Independence Day and Stargate, before they started crapping out turd burgers like 10,000 BC and The Day After Tomorrow, where the villain of the movie is weather. Sometimes there's just nothing better than a good cheese fest of a creature feature, especially when you just want to sit back and not have to think too much. Like most of these monster films, nuclear testing causes a giant sea-dwelling reptilian monster to run amok, destroying buildings and gobbling up extras right and left like they were cheap concessions. The first act of real destruction is destroying a fishing boat in the rain. Later, a man is questioned in a French hospital about what he saw. Our hero, a scientist working with the military, tracked the path of the creature's attacks as it heads for New York City. The monster comes ashore and attacks a fish market, where shortly thereafter, the army is called in to destroy it. Their ambush is less than successful, to say the least, but after the creature flees to the river, the military think they finally destroyed him. He turns up again though like a bad penny for the final conflict, where he is ultimately defeated and our hero of the movie gets the girl. Sounds like a great film, right? Except for one little thing. I just described the plot of the 1953 Ray Harryhausen creature feature, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. And this isn't the only time Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin have borrowed a bit from classic cinema. Independence Day itself is a mixture of Earth versus the Flying Saucers and the War of the Worlds. As enjoyable as their films are, you really do start to see a pattern of nerd gets swept into a large adventure working with the military to save the planet. In Stargate, you had Daniel Jackson, played by James Spader. In Independence Day, you had Jeff Goldblum. This time around, we have Ferris Bueller himself, Matthew Broderick, as our nerd of the day. But he'll soon realize this is no war game when all the shooting starts. Where this film truly shines is in its cast of colorful and comical supporting characters. The best by far is Jean Reno, who we'll just call French Rambo from now on, because that's essentially who he is in this film. If you ever go up against an army of reptiles, he's the guy you want by your side. He's a professional. Now this film gets a lot of crap, and admittedly, it is not the most realistic or faithful adaptation of Godzilla ever put to screen. The Japanese company behind the Godzilla franchise hated this film so much, in fact, they bought the rights to this film just so they could have the real Godzilla fry this monster with one blast of its atomic breath. But then again, try sitting through a Godzilla film once they added Godzuki to the mix, and try to tell me with a straight face that this is quality entertainment. And I know I already mentioned this, but at least this film showed you the monster for more than 15 minutes. That's right, I'm looking at you, Gareth Edwards. And by the way, you could have given me more screen time in Rogue One. I still haven't forgotten about that. Now this film is undeniably a giant cheeseball, to be sure, but at times it's some pretty tasty cheese. It is truly one of the last great spectacle films of its kind. You see, from the mid-70s to the late 90s, there were several films designed to give a sense of wonder and excitement. It really hits you how drab and lifeless films are shot and scored these days when compared to the mood and cinematic feel of these older films. This is before the dark and gritty phase of filmmaking that began in the early to mid-2000s, where every snooty director decided little things like color, smooth camera work, and a good film score somehow ruined their work of cinematic genius. So while the effects don't quite hold up to modern standards, and the film is extremely corny at times, Godzilla is a fun look back at the 90s, when things were radical, fat, and all that. When movie makers used rain, steam, and sweeping camera work to create Spielberg-style movie magic. Before the era of cell phones, shaky cam, and grim, unlikable main characters as grey and lifeless as the color palette of their films. Because of its sense of fun, I give Godzilla 1998 3 out of 5 Death Stars. The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am. This has been Vader Reviews. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, and follow me on Twitter. Join the Empire today. You do not yet realize your importance. Share these videos, and together we will rule the internet. And always remember, you don't know the power of the dark side.